Hi, I'm Jalen Rose, and welcome to the Renaissance Man podcast, proudly presented by the New York Post. As you know, a show where we cover trends in fashion, entertainment, current events, and everything in between. This episode is special to me. That's why I named it Laughter is the Best Medicine. It's going to feature my next guest, who represents from the Windy City, started out as a stand-up comedian in Chi-Town, the show in the movie Get Out, and now you can see him on Not a Sports Show. Please welcome Lil Rel Howery
What
to
up,
the
fam?
show.
What up?
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you taking the time.
No, I'm that. I'm a big fan, bro. So like, I'm a huge basketball. I mean, you see, I own a Kobe Bryant jersey now. I love
Dope.
basketball. So Jalen Rose, the 6'6" lefty. You know what I mean?
Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
From Detroit.
Midwest stand up. That's love. So from performing in bars and comedy clubs in Chicago,
Mhm.
and congratulations to hosting the 2021 Oscars pre-show. I see you blinging. You come a long way. What was your favorite moment of that night?
I mean, yeah, Close doing the butt was really fun. To be honest with you, it was cool to see like cats I ain't seen in a while. So like seeing Daniel win the Oscar, and we was able to all like hang out and embrace each other. That made the night. The Lucas brothers are my good friends too. So like it was kind of surreal seeing my friends, that we all hung out in random, like I call them broke places, and then we had the Oscars with tuxedos on. It's kind of crazy to me.
And so, like, what is that moment like? Because the Oscars had a lot of color this year, and
Mm-hmm.
you just described a lot of Black talented individuals that got rewarded. So how was it like for you to not only get a chance to see them get celebrated for their work and you get a chance to contribute in the way you contributed, but what was it like to break bread with them afterwards?
Afterwards, we kicked it. I ain't gonna lie, because once again nobody ain't really done anything, so everybody was tested and you know excited to be around each other. So it was a night. It was like a class, especially with this Judas and the Black Messiah crew. We had Fred Hampton Jr., which was Fred Hampton's son. He was at the
Mhm.
party. Mama Coup was at the party. His wife. So like it was correct. That night ended with Fred Hampton Jr. giving this powerful speech.
Word?
Imagine
No,
partying.
no,
Yeah, he
no.
gave this powerful, like almost everybody was almost like in
Hey,
tears.
hey, dog, I
It was
need to hear
crazy.
something about this, dog, for real.
I
Like,
can't even
I need to
describe it,
hear
bro. It
what
was
Fred Hampton said.
Fred. He just challenged all of us. You know what I'm saying? To keep going, to keep pushing, to keep making change. And we all sat there and listened. And we talking about everybody was there. We had Drake was at the party. So like to have all these different amazing, man, it was beautiful, man. And just even that night for me was special because I've known Fred Hampton Jr. for a while. I'm from Chicago, from the west side of
Mhm.
Chicago. So he always be talking to me, and especially in the beginning of my comedy career. I used to hang out at this promoter's office we both knew. And
Mhm.
but this is what I found out though. Mama Aku was the fan for real, told him about me. And that's what she told me at the party. And she was, sometimes people say stuff like that, but she was like, yo, I saw you on this. I'm so proud of you. Almost that was a moment for me to be honest with you, man. Like to just not only make the city proud, but people you highly respect
Mhm.
just proud of your journey too. And Fred Hampton was a huge impact on me and my family. I learned a lot about Fred Hampton growing up, which is why one of the reasons why I wanted to be in the movie.
I did too. I was born in 73. And first off, if you haven't seen Judas and the Black Messiah, what is wrong with you? Second, it's your chance to go still do it. If you've seen some of the reports of what happened as it related to Breonna Taylor being murdered by the police, the chairman, Fred Hampton, that story, those stories are eerily similar.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's all, and this is what I was talking to the Lucas brothers on the carpet about. I found it interesting that this movie it exposed stuff where the lawmakers paid attention to it, which is that don't happen all the time with art and politics, right? And look, they murdered this man at 21. And it wasn't about him being a civil rights leader. It's that he was able to get every poor person to be on board with him. To my white, black, Hispanic. That was the fear. The fear was the power this brother was gonna have. And that was, that's
real quick. Your bling is clanking.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's overspinning. My bad. I should take out.
Yeah.
Still hear me?
I can still hear you. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can still leave it on. Yeah, you good.
The headphones off because it probably was hitting the thing. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's okay. I just wanted to make sure we were like getting what you were saying.
I almost forgot my thought.
We were talking about the stories of Breonna Taylor and Fred Hampton, how he basically was telling poor whites that you guys aren't different than us based on how you're treated by society. It's just that we're black.
Yeah. Well, that's that's the fear of Fred Hampton. Was very articulate and really good at just convey any message to anybody. You gotta think about it. It's like Chicago is very segregated. For him to have the gangs along with the racist groups, like it was crazy. And that scared them. I mean, like when you watch the movie and you see the meetings the FBI was at, which you also learn about, like, we love to play everything on J. Edgar Hoover, but it wasn't, he got the okay from, so he wasn't running rogue. That's what they try to pin it on him now. But I'm like, that man didn't do anything without approval. So we really have to look at the whole political climate of our country, man. And that's the one thing I think at some point America has to admit how everything was actually set up, what the real foundation is. And once that happened, we'll have better policing, everything. But that, until they admit that, fam, man, it's gonna still be the same.
And how I try to inspire is, we look up at the scoreboard and it's 400 years of slavery to 0. Like, we know we ain't about to win the game, but we still gotta play. Can't quit. Gotta take some field position. Gotta try to make it better for those behind us. And for how you grew up, to be on a stage like that, to be in a room full of people so very powerful, so very instrumental, what does that do for you going forward? Because that has to make you feel like a new human being in a lot of ways.
So I'll tell you my interesting take on this, because I was just literally talking to my pastor about it, like literally like an hour ago. Because, afterwards, everybody's like, Rel, it's such a big moment, man. Yo, you gotta capitalize on this moment. Because I'm like, well, not if I think these moments gonna keep happening. If you give me opportunity, this is the type of stuff I'm going to do. And that's what it comes down to. Like, I'm so thinking about everything forward for me. I'm like, this ain't even it yet. So it's going to be a lot more coming. So I'm not necessarily like, oh, this is going to be like, nah, y'all just starting to see, fam. This is what I've been doing, actually. So it's like, yo, this ain't, it's, I know people love to bask in things, and I do have my moments. Believe me, I'll sit by myself sometimes, or just take a drive, man, and just drive for everything. But like, no, I'm still like, no, there's still more to come. So like, I'm just like, no, this is what it is. You give me this shot, this is what I'm going to do.
And you making the moves. And what was funny, you seemed really caught off guard by the Glenn Close moment.
Yeah.
Tell us what was going through your mind.
I was happily, because they wasn't sure. Like, she knew I was going to call on her, right? She knew that part. And everybody, well, is everything scripted? I'm like, no, Glenn, Daniel and them gave her some information. It was like a team effort with everything. Now, I was like, yo, I'm going to try to get her to dance. They're like, Rel, I'm like, yo, I'm going to see what happens. If she does it, she don't. If she doesn't, I'm going to call somebody else to do the butt. Like, that was what I was going to do. If Glenn didn't dance, I was going to see if everybody else would get up and do the butt with me. So, but with her doing that was enough. I'm like, I didn't even know how to close the commercial. I didn't know what to say no more. I was like, all right, she did it.
That was hilarious, and you guys stole the show. And growing up in Chicago, a rough and tumble time. The hardest thing to do is to entertain somebody and get them to pay you for it. When did you first realize you were funny?
Man, a long time ago. I think you realize it on your own first, right? I'm a big fan of Eddie Murphy. Uh, I love SNL and Living Color, Martin, Sanford and Son.
Mhm.
I used to watch the what's it, Three Stooges. Like I've watched a lot of random stuff, and just that's how I found my humor. But Eddie Murphy really is my inspiration for me, which I because sometimes you hear people say that, and then like they material or style don't match that. Like, how you inspiration you doing this type of comedy? But Eddie, if you watch me storytelling, character work, all that stuff, even when I talk with my hands a lot because of him. So like I'm a huge Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy's a huge impact on me, on even just the way I act. And then, later on you get more influences like Bernie Mac. You know what I'm saying? Bernie became like him and Robin Harris,
Ooh.
two of the most naturally funny comedians of all time. And then you start learning more about other people like Moms Mabley. Like when I started, because I'm a nerd of this, you know what I'm saying? Of TV and film and comedy. I am a straight up nerd. So I watch everything, I read everything. I mean, honestly, I stole Richard Pryor's book from the library. Like it's a true story. So I was 16. But this thing, I thought I took all the alarms out of the pages. They had like it's in the West Side. They had all the books alarmed up, so you could still. I thought I took all of them off, and I walked out with this old lady, and the alarm went off, and I just kept walking. And they stopped her. She's like, "Well, I ain't still no books." I'm running. I come here every day. I ain't stole nothing.
So, what's more challenging? And one of the things, by the way, I agree. I feel like Eddie's the GOAT. Like all of the shows that you named, I grew up watching, loving. I even watched racist overtone shows like Archie Bunker and All of the Family.
Oh, All of the Family's brilliant.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, brilliant.
Wasn't it? So for you, what's more challenging, stand-up comedy or acting?
I put all that in the same category. What can be tough is having your own show, right? I had my own sitcom on Fox, and that was a lot of work, right? Because I was the EP of it, I wrote on it, I starred in it, and it was a lot more stressful than I thought it would be because you also trying to like please, black, us, like I don't know, make sure black people, so it's a lot. And I learned a lot from there. I learned how to lead properly. I learned how to like let people do their jobs, and I can't control everything. You know what I'm saying? You gotta let people do what you hired them to do. You know what I'm saying? But that was a lot. But it was a big lesson. But to this point now, I can't even do anything if I don't have any say in it. You know what I'm saying? Which is what I love about not a sports show is they let me put my stamp on it. It was a great team effort, and to me, and I'm a sports person. Like Ahmad Rashad is one of my, like, I used to watch Inside Stuff like some lunatic. And so I was like, that's what I'm saying, bro. Like that I was always like, if I ever I want a sports show so I can interview athletes like he did. Because Ahmad always make it feel like we knew y'all. If he talked to you, it was like what it is. Like, oh man, he like, man, this is my main man. He called everybody their main man. Like that's and growing up seeing all that, like it's all that, and that's all tied into me. I love entertainment so much. It's so many different moments from sports, from comedy, from movies, from TV, that like, which is why I like being at the Oscars, to be honest with you. That's what was interesting for me as the little kid me was like, yo, this is crazy, bro. Like you a part of this? Like I was like, Harrison Ford was like right next to me, like having a glass of wine or something. And I was like, dang, this is
so when you in those situations like me, like I gotta make sure, like, all right, I want to have a couple of drinks, but I want to make sure I don't get wasted. How was you on that scale?
No, well, it depends on the event, right?
The later it get, the more wasted you could get.
It depends on who there, right? Like I think a lot of times, like back, when stuff was still open at the time, I'll go to these events and I just chill, you know what I'm saying? And then as you see some of the homies walking in, we almost make our own section. Which Black, we try not to do that, but we do that. We end up, I don't care where we at.
Hey, look at
Wait, hold on one second.
All right.
Oh my God, the grass dude is here. He don't know. Because he don't give a damn, huh? He just gonna. I got the dude doing my lawn. I told him not to do nothing, but
You just rich, dog. It's okay. It's fine. I understand. You don't know what day and time they coming.
I don't.
When you was growing up, you had to cut the grass. That was you. Now you paying somebody to do it. You don't know when they come, how much they cost, none of that.
But this thing about Jalen, they do their job so much, even if you're paying them, like, hey man, today don't do anything. They're like, no. No. I said, no, you don't have to work. No. All right.
Getting it in. How about this though? I want to make sure I get this in because this is dope. You were alongside from Daniel Kaluuya in the most memorable character in Get Out. How did that opportunity come about? And how did you feel about being a part of such a classic film? Classic.
Well, I can tell you the whole process, right? Me and Jordan Peele was at the Steven Spielberg the night before party he used to throw. And he's like, yo, Rel, you know, I wrote a horror film. I was like, oh, it's good for you, brother. You know, because you do comedy. I was like, okay, whatever. You talk about Key and Peele, the sketches, you wrote a horror film, bro. And he started describing it. And I was like, oh, you wrote a horror film. This sounds very detailed. I'm like, you a horror film fan? That's when he told me, like, he was really into horror. He always had been as a kid and this and that. And he's like, yo, I'll probably have you come read for it. I'm like, cool. You know, I didn't think nothing of it until I saw the script. Now, this thing about it, I was reading it and it sounded like me. It ain't too many things you get where you like, this sound like me.
Your voice.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like this, am I crazy? Because it sounds like me. And, you know, I was like, you know, I'll never forget. I got the audition, went to did the first audition. Jordan had me come back and do the callback. I did my callback with him. We read the scene that there was the original ending where Daniel get locked up by the police, and I'm at the police station trying to get whatever answers I could get out of him. And man, that was an emotional scene to do. You know, the original one was crazy. So we did the scene. I'm like outside waiting on my Uber, just trying to calm down because you know it's really deep. I mean, it's a deep scene where you like you're locked up. You're trying to help him. He's basically telling you, you know how it is. We black. Don't worry about it. I'm here. I'm in jail. Like, you know what I mean? Even though I ain't do anything wrong, I'm still in the situation. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm out there. Jordan comes out there. He said, look, I ain't supposed to tell you this, but I'm about to offer you the role. Now, understand this. I didn't know what this was going to do. I didn't know what it was going to do. He tells me that. He goes back inside. I just start walking. I'm like walking and I'm crying. Like, and I didn't know why. To this day, I'm like, what? I didn't, because it wasn't a big budget. It wasn't like a big deal. You know what I mean? But it was a feeling about just something special about this movie. Because I thought it could either go either way. Either people were going to love it or really hate us. Like, well, you gonna kill these white people and drive off? Okay, we'll see what happens. So, but it ended up being like one of the greatest moments of like my Hollywood moment was just literally, I don't remember where I was at, walking down the street from Jordan's office and just crying and just praising God just for whatever opportunity this was about to be. And, you know, it's every time I think about it, I get chills. And I didn't know, you know, it's weird when it's like Get Out has so many moments like that for me. It was that all the way until, you know, we get to the premiere and, you know, nobody really know who I am at first at the carpet. And then after the movie is over with, I get in the lobby and I get like bummed. Yeah. And the security had to take me to my car. And I was just like, yo, what the heck is gonna happen? Like, is this about to be a thing? And it's just one of those great moments, man. And like just in my career that I remember the trailer came on, me and Tiffany went to see, I forgot what movie we went to see, me and Tiffany Haddish, and the trailer came on. I didn't know the trailer was in front of the movie. She stood up like, that's him right here. You didn't get out, go see it.
I gotta remind you, you're rich now, you're a celebrity now. So when you say Tiffany
Haddish, oh yeah.
You know, for us common folks, you know what I'm saying? Like, see who you running with now?
But me and her was like, I was sleeping on her couch.
That's so dope. Both of y'all came up. Both of y'all overcame a lot and paid y'all dues. So what was it like for you for the first time seeing it in theaters with people who had never seen the movie?
You know what's crazy? Get Out is one of the great theater experiences you can have. Like where I went to a lot of the screenings because I like watching the audience go on this ride, especially once they get to the end and they don't know who's pulling up. They see those lights, you just hear people going, oh no, come on, man. And then when I get out, everybody, that's why people were losing it because they were so like, you know what I mean? And they feel it's like, oh, he about to get locked up. Here we go again with this. And it's me getting out the car and people lose it. But then I love even more, we get in the car and it's this serious thing. He's quiet. And I'm just like, you know, I told you not to go in the house. Like, you know, it's just all that, you know, combined with just, that's so crazy. That's surreal to me too, Jalen. Like like I said, I'm a movie and TV nerd. I'm like, yo, I'm a part of like a classic.
Classic.
You can do a lot of movies and none of them can be not classic, right?
Correct.
I'm a part of something they study in film school, you know?
All-time classic. I gotta ask you this. What did you say the first time you heard these two words put together? Sunken place.
Well, you know something? It's funny you say that. When you see that in the script, or even when I watched it for the first time on my own, it's kind of eerie. It scares you because you're like, have I been there before? Was I in a sunken place? Because it wasn't even just about the sunken place. It was about, you know, and it's so funny. Like when I do general meetings now, I don't give out personal information, right? People be like, "Hey, how you grew up?" Like, no, I want to create stuff, which I want to talk creatively about.
Correct.
Because, you know, it's some about people having too much information on you, taking advantage of that, right? And that's what happened in the movie. It like freaked me out because I'm like, how many times have I been in this situation and not aware of it? You know what I'm saying? And, you know, so interesting when we watch now, because now it's a thing to say, right? If you see,
it's a verb.
Bam, you see Ben Carson, like, yeah, that better. Yeah, for him to like, we don't.
And how about this? A trivia fact. He and I may be 30, 40 years apart, and it just show how the neighborhood got gentrified. Went to the exact same high school.
Wow.
Detroit Southwestern.
Wow.
We attended the same high school. True story. I cannot make that up.
It's almost like, where is the switch happening? And it's like, it's so many brothers and, you know, and sisters out here we see do it. And it's the eeriest thing to see. You know, like man, like it's, I can go into detail about that, but it's, it is one of those things. I get tweets all the time. People like, could you come save him? Like, fam, I ain't, come on, yeah.
So the theme for this episode is laughter is the best medicine. In what ways has comedy healed you throughout your life? And what comedians would you consider your biggest healers?
Well, that's a great question. Stand-up, that's the great thing about stand-up comedy. It is therapeutic. Like I remember my mom passed, and you know, I'm the oldest, so I had to like do the adult stuff and go to the funeral home and do all that. And it's a sad, hard thing to do. But comedy always shows up. And the saddest thing, I'm looking at caskets I've never seen that before. You know, those funeral directors are dark, you know what I'm saying? They're very monotone. And I was with one of my aunties, and she was just joking. She's like, "Ooh, I'm gonna get this casket." And the lady was like, "Oh no, we have to order yours. You need yours." Like, why is she being so mean? So I'm like, my auntie like snapped, like, "Who you talking to, lady?" Right? So I'm like dying laughing now because I was being sad to like, yo, did she just tell my auntie that she couldn't put in these caskets in?
Wow.
Like,
wow.
Get yours custom made. And she just walked away. I was like,
wow.
But comedy, that's what I'm saying. It shows up in these moments, and then I'll go on stage and talk about all of that. Like I've had like tragic moments where comedy came to say, I mean, not to keep talking about death, but even when I lost my brother, you know, I remember we was just all in tears. We had, took him off, life support or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a hard moment. And then my auntie and my cousin started arguing, as they always do, because they both was crying. Me and my brother went from like crying hurt to like almost laughing with our brother that passed away, where we all would have been like, yo, they doing this again, fam. Like, what are they doing?
Absolutely.
Got the cousins doing too much. We ain't doing too much. She's like grabbing the curtain, she's grabbing the body, like, hey, no, stop touching it. Like, let's just doing too much. And they started arguing, and it was hilarious.
How about this? And this is another lob you just threw me. It's almost like we're a tag team. I cannot make this up. We're filming this on the 28th of April. I lost my mother February 2nd of this year. And I heard you say you lost your brother. I lost my brother, my oldest brother, 13 months ago. And I'm the youngest of four and been juggling and doing everything you just described. And so I know what you mean when you say that. And I appreciate somebody at your age that can understand how I feel about losing my mom. That's the shirt I'm wearing right now.
Wow.
That's a picture of me and my mom on draft day.
Wow.
This is the day that changed my family's life. And this picture means so very much to me. And so what is it like for you to now have that role, accept that role, and tell young people that look like us that's gonna have to deal with turbulence, gonna have to deal with pain, will have to deal with family chaos. Like, how can you stay disciplined, focused, and still navigate everything?
That's such a great so I would say this, right? It's not to promote nothing, but my HBO special Live in Crenshaw that came out a couple years ago, I talk about that, right? I talk about the transition where I become the phone call. It's a whole bit I do about my family having a meeting about calling me.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So like, it's happened a couple of times. But but you know what's interesting? I have embraced that. That is a part of being a leader of not just where we are, my family now, but like generational wealth, right?
Correct.
I'm okay with the role. Like I've actually accepted it. Like, people get mad. Like, see, I want everybody asking me for stuff and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
Fam, that's what it is. That's just what it is.
Correct.
And it's still your family. And if you're the one that's supposed to take care of everything, that's just what it is. And then like I think about this too. I've had to think about how to do a lot of things based off stuff that happened, right? I do my will. And because I'm like, yo, you gotta have that, right?
Yep.
You have that for your children. If
Yep.
you have a will done, everybody's gonna be all over the place. They're gonna be arguing about something. Chaos. I don't want to do that, So it's things like that where you just step up as as a grown man. Like, fam, this is how we're gonna do it. I'm gonna make sure everything's in order. But also, I am lucky because my uncles and my aunts and my dad and everybody, I had some really good. I still do. They instilled a lot in me. But it is interesting when the roles are switching. That's something talk about all the time. It's like, taking care of our dad and stuff like that. It's like, dang, this is, we become it's just interesting. It's really weird watching people that took care of you, raised you, did everything.
Correct.
And at some point the roles kind of reverse.
Absolutely. Reinvesting in your family. That's why it's so very important to do what you just said. Accept the responsibility. Don't run away from it. And have an opportunity to teach your cousins, your nieces, your nephews, your brothers, your sisters, your kids. You can put them up on some game. Like, I come from an era where talking about life insurance policies and wills and stuff like that, that was taboo. That didn't come up.
Mm-hmm.
But what you're now accomplishing, you can't afford to have that happen. That would just be irresponsible. That would go against everything that you're trying to build. So I admire that you accepting that and you step up, because it's tough.
Well, Jalen, too, also you should accept, like, because people could be selfish, right? I get it. Sometimes a lot of us are first generation of whatever we have, right? If you're a million, whatever you are, most of us, especially Black, are first generation. Um, but we selfishly be like, I'm the one that got this, so I need to, like, that's why people spend so much and do all this crazy stuff. But I'm like, for me, my dreams are coming true, right? I've literally done some things that I did everything little kid me really was rooting for me to do. Now, our goal is to make sure everybody else's dreams come true, not only in my family, but to other creators I respect and love, and just create opportunities for people. That's a whole nother half of me. So, because it's not even selfishly about all what I do. That's why, like, when I think about the Oscars again, yeah, that was great, but like, it's more.
Exactly.
About giving me an opportunity. Okay, maybe I should look more into more of these comedians, Black comedians. Give us an opportunity to do some dope there.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You go to the same people. Maybe we need to change that. So I'm hoping, like, when I do stuff, it opens up doors for other people.
Well, it definitely is. You taking field position for sure. I want to talk about your style. You were once quoted saying your look is like a cross between a pastor and a hustler. Both wear gators. Explain where the love from suits comes from.
Well, that's funny. So, like, the way I wear my suits, especially more currently, and I think I'm sticking with it now, like the whole 70s style, is really from my dad. You know what I'm saying? He just was a clean brother. You know what I'm saying? This is a dude that would iron. He still put creases in his pants.
Midwest, dog. Come on now.
He's-
We wear outfits.
he still use starch. Like,
Head to toe, the car, the interior.
yeah, that is my inspiration. Now, I also got, like, Dwayne Wayne. This is like my Dwayne Wayne look today, right? A jersey, like Money Making Mitch from Paid in Full, right?
Money Making Mitch.
You're like, all right, let me jump in. I'm gonna do the drop top bins today. That's what we doing. You know what I'm saying? Just roll down the street looking like Money Making Mitch, getting love from people you don't even know. I be like pointing at people that don't even know me, like,
What up, yo? Oh man, you hilarious. Before you get out of here, I want to promote your new show. You're the host of a new show. Congratulations. It is called Not a Sports Show, where you interview current and former athletes. And don't hesitate to reach out. I would love to join you. Can you tell us more about it?
I mean, look, it's just a really fun sports show where we dive into the lives of these athletes and just talk real talk. It could be about the way they grew up. It could be about parenthood. It could be about, like, goals and other things they want to do outside of sport. And, I end up having, and once again, I'm a huge sports fan. So I had some really cool conversations with people. And I honestly think that's probably one of the reasons they asked me to do the pre-interviews at the Oscars is watching this show. Because it was just I was able to have really natural conversations. Now, along with that is me doing characters on there, which is insane to do, and like doing something fun with each athlete that they usually don't do, which has been fun also. But the characters in there is some of my best character work, where, like, I'm rewatching this and forgetting that I said, because some of the stuff I freestyle with some of the characters, I just like went and just, especially because that's one thing, like, from the Eddie Murphy school. Look a certain way, you got the nose and the mustache. You just turn it to whatever that is. So it's a really fun show, and I'm so proud to be. I'm glad they, like, offered it to me, and I'm glad they was open to being creatively open to my creative suggestions with the show. So it'll be something special. I think it's a really, and then we do a season 2, Jalen. Yeah, you got to do the show, bro.
Done and done. One call away. You out here crushing it, my brother. Congratulations. You know what I mean? And before I let you get out of here, though, I'd like to do a rapid fire segment called Gone in 60 Seconds. These are quick answers, rapid fire. You ready for this?
Let's do it.
This first one is for the culture. Harold's Chicken in Chicago or Roscoe's Chicken in LA?
Harold's Chicken. Harold's. No, and you know what's the difference is the mild sauce. That's just what it is. Roscoe should invest into some Harold's sauce.
Harold sauce is classic. Oh my goodness. You're going to a party and you're driving. Glenn Close is in the back seat. Who are your 2 other passengers.
With Glenn Close. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Doing the butt.
Dana King, Andrew.
Ooh,
Yeah, because she's hilarious. She's a real
yeah.
one.
Tina King and who?
Andrew Day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she did. You know, she played Billie Holiday in the United States versus Billie Holiday. She is hilarious.
Who's the more iconic Chi-Town rapper? Common or Chief Keef?
Common. And
Legend.
there's different generations too of
No
it. And because I love Chief Keef too. But Common, man, he's it's so weird because him and Tiffany Haddish, I gotta say her whole name, they together. And
Yes.
after dinner, and it was just I was like rapping his songs. I'm like, bro, I know way too many of your songs. Kind of weird that we friends with your music.
Question. I got love for him and them. He's the rap Barack Obama. Go ahead and run, Common. Go ahead and run for president, dog. You work with Jordan Peele. Who's the next director you want to work with?
That's a great question. Regina King.
She is out here crushing them too. That's a good call.
Yeah.
Top 3 up and coming comedians we should look out for.
Oh, great question. It's a female comic from Chicago named Just Niche.
Mhm.
My homeboy, also from Chicago, his name is T Murph.
Mhm.
And so I'm gonna give her a shout out too. And I could do a list of people, but Marilyn Monroe, also from Chicago, another female comedian. She's so funny. Her and Just Niche has a show they just did together that I'm gonna put on my streaming service that I curate the comedy on. But yeah, it's those are my 3: T Murph, Marilyn Monroe, and Just Niche.
And as you guys see, he Chi-Town to the fullest, loyal to his soil. Lil Rel, I appreciate you. The last question before I let you get out of here. What's the proudest moment of your career so far?
Well, here we go. I don't know if it's about me, it's a legacy thing. So when I did the movie Uncle Drew, I had them cast my son to play Little Me. And they didn't tell me he was in the trailer. Okay. So I'm at CinemaCon. This is a big deal. I'm about to get this award. They play the trailer on this huge TV. And guess who pops up in the beginning of it? It's Judas. And I burst into tears. I had to walk away. I'm like, oh, because I didn't know that was happening. And to see him, it was just one of the greatest moments as a parent. Because I remember he was born premature, and I remember, it was some complications, and they were saying he may not come out crying. That's what I had that moment of I almost didn't have my little man. Now look at him. He's on a big screen. And that's one of the greatest moments of my life. I was just overwhelmed with emotion. I didn't know I was gonna feel like that, to be honest with you. But it just was I couldn't believe it. I was like, yo, I forgot I was in the movie. I didn't even care about my stuff. And as him in the beginning, and it was the most surreal moment I've ever experienced.
Well, you deserve it, my brother. And I know this is just the beginning. I know everybody got a chance to see you at the pre-show and y'all went viral and you about to be getting more checks and everything is going to be everything. But it's just getting started, y'all. It's just getting started. And if y'all didn't know, now y'all know. I appreciate you joining the show, my brother. Hopefully we can catch up soon.
Oh man, thank you, brother. I appreciate it.